watching ABC News GH. We are glad to have you join us on ABC in the morning. It's an honor, it's a privilege to bring you ABC in the morning here on ABC News GH. It's a beautiful morning, like I have already said, and life is what you make it. So because life is what you make it, I want to encourage you, I want to urge you to take a step and make life what you want it to be. Make life what you have envisioned it to be, what you have dreamt about. I encourage you to go out there and make it a reality. You're watching ABC in the morning. Today we are bringing you some very wonderful conversations that you would love. We'll delve into things that matter to us as a people and things that matter to our lives and livelihood. I am Abuna Mante and you're watching ABC in the morning. We'll bring you our front story, we will bring you our main discussion, we'll bring you tech trick, and we'll bring you trends, and finally you would have business fix. So ABC in the morning is a cocktail of conversations that is for you, made for you, and tailored for you. You have to be part of this. On front story this morning, we are looking at inflammatory comments ahead of the elections. So many political actors have said certain things that are inflammatory, things that can cause some mayhem, and we are looking at why they are doing this and what it means to the peace and stability of the country for people, especially political actors, to make such comments. Today on Ghana Speaks, like I said yesterday, it is about you. Your voice matters. So we are going into the constituencies to speak to you. We'll bring you Ghana Speaks from the constituencies. You will hear what constituents are expecting from their leaders ahead of the election. We also bring you Tech Trick. On Tech Trick, we give you all of the things you need to make your technology life good. Right now we are in a technological world, and it is very necessary and imperative that you are abreast with everything happening. So we'll be bringing you Tech Trick. And on trends, what is trending in Ghana? Godday will be bringing us what is trending in Ghana. And on Business Fix, we'll be looking at the Bank of Ghana's report on fraud in our banks. We'll delve deeper into it to see the effect it has on us as a people, and it has on the banking sector. So this is what we have for you today. And on the main discussion and politics today, you don't want to miss it, because the conversation is going to be insightful. The conversation will be great. It will be nice. But let's delve straight into our front story. And like I said earlier, we are looking at dealing with political tensions ahead of the 2024 elections. Stay with us. This morning on Front Story, we are looking at dealing with political tensions ahead of the 2024 elections. This election is a very critical election, like all elections are, and we are looking at why political tensions are on the rise. Some political actors have made so many inflammatory comments, and these comments are a blight on our democracy. We shouldn't be having such comments in this day and age from both political divides. So many comments have been flying around, and it is not good for our democracy. It is not good for our people. It is not good for our stability. We want to look at why these are happening and look at the effects it will have on us as a people. So that is what we are looking at on Front Story this morning. We have joining us on the line Austin Aigbe, who is the advocacy officer for the West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network, WADIMOS. He's going to share with us his vast knowledge on this issue. Good morning, Austin.
Good morning, and good to be here this morning. How is Ghana?
Ghana is great. How is Nigeria, Austin?
Very cool.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Austin, you have monitored elections across the sub-region. So with your vast experience in elections within this sub-region, how would you say is the best approach to calming down tensions ahead of our elections?
Thank you very much. The bane of our electoral system in this region is largely because politics is a game of winning all. Once you win, everything is agreeable to you. The victor takes all. It's a weird scenario, and politics is where you are able to control the vast natural resources or the all resources of the particular country. So for a president of any nation in the region, he largely is next to God. In fact, Israeli said that after God is government, and the president is the head of government, particularly in our region. Across all the countries, even where you have prime minister, the president is still the head of government, as it were. And you see the accruable resources that go to the president. One individual, just one individual, male or female, the moment is elected president or she's elected president, automatically that individual who has never been involved in business, who has never been involved in anything that has to do with managing people, automatically begin to appoint a lot of employees. The president, I'll take a case like in Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and elsewhere. The president has over 1,000 people that he or she can employ. This individual may never have managed any business that is more than even 5 people or 10 people. Automatically, that power that individual accrued to him or herself become a problem as time goes on. All of the divide and rule system is embedded in that power. Suddenly, the president who may never have traveled abroad or has never had the opportunity of getting the diplomatic passport, he automatically become a diplomat. Any country of the world with his red passport can move on or using the state resources, not his personal resource. Unlike in the US, for instance, where if you live in White House, if people come to visit you in White House, you will feed them with your own resources. We heard that from Michelle Obama when he was sharing their experience in White House. But in the sub-region, once you get into the presidential villa or Aso Rock or the name, whatever name is called, across the region, the resources you spend is become the state resource. So you see people wanting to do everything to emerge as the winner. So that is the genesis or the foundation of the tension in election, that it become a do or die affair, because there is no opportunity for whoever loses in an election to even gain the state resource or to even be compensated, having spent this huge resource in the election. So at the end of the day, people engage in all manner of things, including hate speeches, fake news, electoral violence, just to emerge as winner of the election. And you see all of that now is changing gradually with the influx of military intervention in our political landscape.
Unfortunately, this has become the day, the hate speech, the misinformation and disinformation that is spewed out there. You have mentioned that because everybody's looking for something in the election, it becomes a do or die affair. Doesn't it take away from the people who want us to elect them that now it's not about coming to serve the people, it is about coming to self-serve? Because if you want to serve the people, why then will it become a do or die affair for you as a politician?
So the politicians, I believe you can hear me, the politicians
yes,
at this time are pretending to be servants. Okay. They are pretending to be servants, and they tell you, I'll be your servant. And that's usually the buzzwords they use. They call themselves servants. The moment they emerge as elected officials, they become chief servant. Before you know what's happening, they become the Lord of the Ring. They become the king, because the power has now been given. You see, when they are sworn in, it's different. You see them now changing the narrative, advising the opposition to be careful in the way they speak. They should avoid hitting of the polity and all about why they are campaigning. They throw caution to the wind. They don't even care whose source is God. All they know is that they want to win elections, particularly when they are in government or incumbent government. Because they have state resources, they have a parachick of the administration of the government. For instance, across the region, the government is the owner of the police. And when I say owner, means that they control the police, they fund them, they control the army, they fund them, they control virtually all the security architecture of state. So largely they could use that. It's only in Senegal in the last election that the military and even the court of Senegal did not want to play to the whims and caprices of the ruling party, because this institution thought that it wanted to respect the constitution. Again, it's a constitutional issue. The military are not supposed to be involved in election. The court are supposed to defend the constitution and all of those narratives. But elsewhere outside of Senegal, if you see what happened in Togo, is the same police that went after those who were voting against constitutional review. In fact, the constitutional coup that took place in that country. Or you want to talk about what happened in Cote d'Ivoire, where changes are made to constitution, and the one who changed the constitution wants to perpetuate himself in power. These are some of the narrative that spill over to other West African countries, that if it can happen in one, then it can happen in all. And so if it happens in country A country B wants to do the same thing and want to perpetuate themselves in power and remain so for a longer time. So the thing about hate speech is these guys know that hate speech will hit up the politics. They know. But the moment they emerge, they change the hate speech and begin to target the opposition as the ones who are peddling hate speeches. But they, during electoral process, you are going to see incumbents also engaging in those form of hate speeches and sending what they call propaganda. You know, they say that propaganda is not fake news. Propaganda is actually aimed to sway voters' perception. You can, if you flip the coin, if it's not coming from governmental institution, it should be fake news. But because it's government official, they say propaganda is official communication, government communication. So opposition is not government. So when opposition engage in propaganda, it is classified as disinformation. But when government engage in propaganda, it is called propaganda. Or when government engage in disinformation, it is called propaganda. So they just have a way of changing the narrative. But in all of these things will boil down to how the power of elected officials are used to usurp the powers of the citizens, the powers of opposition, the powers to on repression, and all of that. We have seen that across the West African region.
Austin, the politicians, the people in government, they are supposed to be...
Hello?
Yes, Austin, can you hear me, please? Yes. Hello, Austin. Hello, Austin. Oh, Austin Ibe is the advocacy officer. Okay, Austin is back. Hello, Austin.
Thank you.
Okay. Austin, I was saying that our politicians, our people in government, are people that we should be holding to a certain standard when it comes to maintaining the integrity of our electoral process and also maintaining the integrity of the words that come out of their mouth. So much so that we should look at them to be able to speak well. Unfortunately, these persons have now turned themselves into the propagators of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. Like you said, when disinformation comes from anybody, it's not... We know that it is wrong, but when it comes from the political persons, we say that it is propaganda. These persons are now turning themselves into what they shouldn't be. They've become the opposite of what they should present to the people. In doing this, how are we going to mitigate? How are we going to look at doing, and as a people demand from them that they stay true to the course that they are supposed to chart?
You see, the challenge of the people, usually we put everything on the people, and I also put it in this conversation, I'm still going to put it on the people, because the people are the ones who are electing these individuals, whether they are good or they are bad. A political actor once said, or a political philosopher once said, that the people deserve the kind of government they get, which means whoever emerged as president or whatever elected official position, they came from the people. They are not from outside of the country. For instance, the president of Ghana is a Ghanaian. You will never vote a Nigerian to become president of Ghana. That's why constitutions of country will state that for a president, even in the United States, the constitution states that for you to be president, you must be born in the country. You must be born in that country. So you can go out, have nationality, your mother can be whatever, but you have to be born in country. So this is to make sure that the people of that country are electing one of their own. Automatically, it's the same people that should hold them accountable. But you and I know that government institutions are the ones that have capacity to make changes to constitutions. These institutions have the way of changing rules over time to benefit them in power. And that is why today you hear of words like constitutional coup, when officials of government, elected officials, uses the institutions of the state, for instance, the National Assembly, to amend constitutions to favor elected presidents. And that has continued over time. They'll tell you, no, it's not us, it's the parliament. But we know what the parliament is doing. The parliament are only dancing to the tune of that one individual, because that one individual is the one that has the budget of the state, is the one that controls the resources of state, is the one that allocates resources to the various agencies of government, including infrastructural development, including solving the wicked problem of the people. That's the challenge of people. For instance, you see in Nigeria, for instance, in the states of one state of the north, in Maiduguri, Borno State, flooding has overtaken almost like the entire city. You need one individual, the president, to release funding to control that. If that president find out that that state does not support him or her, it could delay funding to evacuate, to support, to engage in some repairs of the dam that have caused the damage. The same thing can happen in Ghana. It can happen in Senegal. It can happen in Cote d'Ivoire. It can happen in the Gambia. Those state resources at the disposal of this individual is a challenge. How do you stop it? Constitutional amendment. And who is going to engage in that constitutional amendment? The same person you want to work against. It's a challenge. If you recall in 2009, when President Barack Obama visited Ghana, he made a comment, very strong comment. He said that Africa's challenge is that there are too many strong men and weak institutions. So there's one strong man can weaken the entire architecture of the state. So one man as president or one woman as president can change policy that weakens institutions. One person as president can destroy the electoral system of the whole country. One person as president can impoverish the people. One person as president can lift people out from poverty. One person as president can bring the desired development. We have seen that in Singapore, one individual changing the political landscape, changing the developmental landscape of one country, one individual, one country. It takes one person because of the way systems are produced. But that's not the same where you have countries with strong institutions. You saw in 2000, was it 2000, year 2000 or so, year 2000 or so, when election took place in the US, the election that led to the removal of former President Donald Trump. You saw how Donald Trump, in January 6th of 2021, tried to, before the handover date, tried to manipulate the system to favor him in power, but the institution protected the democratic norm. I'm sure you can. That may be very difficult to get in West Africa. If the president is interested in third term bid, it will only take certain grace, maybe supernatural grace. It has happened in Nigeria before, where former President Olusegun Obasanjo made an attempt to change the constitution to become a third term president. The resistance from everywhere, including resistance from his vice president, who was interested to succeed the president. If it hadn't been for that individual, arguably, who ended up countering whatever was happening at the National Assembly, Olusegun Obasanjo would have had a third term bid. In today's historical context in Nigeria, we would have been talking about third term presidency. Or the moment he secured third term, it will change the constitution again to be fourth term, change again to be fifth term, like we are getting in Rwanda. Or getting today in Togo, or what may end up happening in Cote d'Ivoire, that the president may end up going into for a fourth-term bid, even though now the constitution has been amended to a two-term presidency. But the president was
going stay with me a moment.
The previous 2 terms are now extended to another 2 terms, so it's a challenge.
Yes, Austin, kindly stay with me a moment while we take some videos of some political incitement, some speeches that incite violence in politics, and then we'll come back to you for your final words.
Because SMB, say NDC 2024 abano, and now you're winning that. I'm winning. Go check your record. I'm winning. Na MPP amanyo kuono. Yesi ho say you be winning election. MPP yesi ho say you be winning election. Eti die enim no kwai bia so you be winning 2024 abano. You be fa so. You're a political party. Asofo wom, imam fo wom, omobukunsa wom. That year is a winning election. Eti a kwai bia ye be fa so a ye be winning election no ye be fa so. Monti asia bukoshepo ye be winning election no ni atia etuma pa ya so. Isa get about it. They
will not sign peace pact, and I heard them at the launch of their youth manifesto that they are not going to be victims of peace and all that. They are preparing the mindset of their followers, their supporters towards something. And I am saying that, look, don't go that direction. It's a peaceful election. We all want a peaceful society. It's as simple as that. So don't beat the war drum. Me, Salam Mustafa, if you beat the war drum, I'll dash away. And I'll dash my voice. No. It's not about this council or any other person. I'm saying that
the masses must rise. The masses must rise and then demand their right. Because you see, you cannot build a democracy in a country where you have docile citizens who are reduced to bystanders and watching. We cannot be spectators. So we must actively participate in the way things are shaped up in between elections. And that is what we are doing. We are perfectly expressing the democracy we fought for. And I have given the warning to the youth of this country that those who want peace must prepare for war. If you are not ready to neutralize those people who are undermining the democracy, you will end up in a war where you, the youth, will have no option. You will be conscripted by force to go and fight and die. We don't want to get there. That is why we are removing the elements that could create that destabilization. You see what is happening in Ukraine. If you are a youth in Ukraine now, whether you like it or not, if you are able-bodied, you are arrested and conscripted by force, given weapons to go and fight and die. We don't want to expose Ghanaian youth in that way. That is why, in a peaceful way, we must demand that.
So these are very key personalities in our political system, in our political environment. First, we heard from Brian Echampong, who is the Minister for Food and Agriculture and MP for the people of Abetifi constituency. We also heard Salam Mustafa, who is the National Youth Organizer of the NPP. And we had General Mosquito Johnson Esedun Kitia, the National Chairman of the NDC. These are very heavy words to hear at this time, at this very critical moment, because people are very impressionable. Some people do not make decisions based on themselves. They make decisions based on the people that they look up to. So such comments, such inflammatory comments, have a very high tendency of sparking something in them, and the next thing you know, violence all over. So we are entreating our political actors to be very mindful of their words, because you don't know the next person is going to incite. Such insightful comments are not good for our democracy. They are not good for us as people. They are not good for our lives, because this is a very sensitive season, and in a sensitive season we need and ought to be mindful of the words we use. We have Austin Aigbe still with us, and we're having this discussion on inflammatory comments, this discussion on the inflammatory comments that political actors pass during very critical seasons like the election season. Austin, thank you for staying with us. Hello,
Thank
Austin.
You. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
I believe you heard some of the comments. Some of them were in Chi, so if you didn't understand them, apologies. But what he was saying is that they have the people. They have the people in the party, and they're going to employ all means to win the elections. Whether all means meant very good means or bad means, he says all means. And when you use words like all, obviously people's minds go to the most negative part of it. The national chairman of the opposition NDC also spoke about war. In his comments, he mentioned war so many times. These are comments that do not help the democracy that we are building, do not help the peace that we are trying so much to contain in the country. We don't want to lose the peace that we have. From where you stand, do you think that we need a regulatory body or a regulatory framework to help us restrict our political actors to some of the words that they use?
Yes, I do agree with that. That's a good learning that we have seen in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone has what they call the Political Party Regulatory Commission. So what that commission does is to regulate what they do. Beyond what they do is the commentary during campaigns. They monitor commentaries, inflammatory commentaries during election. It has capacity to spark a war. So when people use words, war, all, we will do everything. It means everything is everything, including engaging in violence, including electoral manipulation, including killing people. And when perception becomes reality, those are the kind of angle that it goes. And the way it goes is that if an MP person is making that comment, the people of that party will usually support the comment, and they are likely going to implement certain of those commentaries. When is the opposite side is MPC, the people, the voters, the party members are going to likely implement those commentaries. What it means is that we will win this election at all costs. The people of the party, the members of the party, are going to have that psyche that by all means possible we should win this election, even if it means doing the impossible. But that's not the way to win election. The way to win election is for the voters to turn out en masse and vote your party. What politicians refuse to or as consistently undermine is that it is better to send a strong message to our opponent that we can do anything, so that the opponent can be afraid of us, especially opposition parties sending a message to the government in power that we know what you want to do. If you do this, we will do this or that. Imagine a protest yesterday in Ghana. You can protest. Protest is a right. But when inflammatory commentary come out from those protests, it sends a wrong signal. That's not the first time we are there's a call for the audit to the voters list. When Mr. Peter McMahon was chair of the government in power, he also made those protests, but not in a way that is being done. You can make the protest, demand for your right, demand for things to be done, and point to the agency that need to make it happen, and give him an opportunity for that agency to respond. But I think it's important to draw lessons from either way. If the protest is peaceful, that is okay. But the fear of protest around the world is that it could be manipulated and could suddenly snowball to violence. We have seen that happen in the UK. You saw the UK riot, how the riot eventually became an opportunity for hoodlums to invade shops and then started lifting goods. Lifting goods in the clear world, started stealing goods. Because if it's Africa, they say stealing is not lifting. So they also stole goods in the UK. And you're going to imagine that happening in Africa, happening in West Africa, where hunger and starvation is more, it will be worse off. And those are not the kind of scenario we should be having. I want to appeal to politicians, opposition political party members, opposition political leaders, incumbent political party members and leaders, particularly the president of the federation, whose tenure is ending, to maintain a level playing field and let it be seen to be so that there's a level playing field, that the police, the Ghana police, is actually maintaining that level playing field, providing protection for all the peoples of Ghana, and of course the Electoral Commission must be seen to be doing the right thing. Not just saying that they will do the right thing, but must be seen to be doing the right thing. This is important for our democracy, for the democracy of the region, because Ghana is a pride in this region. Ghana must not slide into anarchy. Ghana must not slide into confusion. Ghana must maintain its electoral architecture, even though the reports or the data coming from Ghana aren't friendly enough because of, we're looking at the repression, we're looking at the court system, we're looking at the provision of democratic dividend. Ghana isn't really friendly at this time, maybe because of the global economic meltdown. But beyond that, Ghana is at the top of, when you talk about democratic consolidation in the region, Ghana must not slide down. And I want to charge the civil society and the media to hold politicians accountable. It is a role of society at this time to call politicians to the table and begin to work towards what you may classify as a peace accord. A peace accord is very needful at this time, not just few days or few weeks before the election. At this time, September, October, let there be consistent, maybe a fragmented peace accord with the party chair, peace accord with the candidate, peace accord with the youth leaders, peace accord with the women leaders, and have all of those demography enter an accord. I know Nigeria has one. It's moral, but it's not legally blinding, but it has a way of sending moral obligation to the people. We stand in solidarity with the people of Ghana, and we are very confident that Ghana will go to poll and come out stronger, but the politicians must be warned or must be cautioned against the right words, particularly during this process.
Thank you, Austin. Austin Aigbe is the advocacy officer for the West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network, WADEMOS. He's thrown a lot of light on this conversation about inflammatory comments during the election period. Like he said, Ghana is a beacon of the democracy in the sub-region. Ghana is the pride of the sub-region, and it's very necessary and imperative that we maintain the pride that we have. We maintain the standard that we have set for the sub-region and the continent as a whole. We are entreating our politicians to sanitize their words, sanitize their comments, so that people do not run with comments that are unsavory, and then at the end of the day we would realize that we are falling into a ditch. We do not want that. Our democracy is so important to us as a people. It's important to us, and it makes us who we are. So this is Front Story on ABC in the morning. We have looked at inflammatory comments passed by political actors during the season. This is the end of Front Story. Up next is Trends. It's necessary that we know what is trending in the country. If you don't know what is trending, you are far behind. You won't catch up to the news very early. It's for the reason why Godwin is on standby to give us what is trending in Ghana and also what is trending in the world of sports. Gode. Hello, Gode. How is it going? What is trending in Ghana? What is trending in the world of sports? I know yesterday there were some matches that were played. People were very, very intense about the matches. What is happening?
Yes, you see, Champions League matches are going on. The whole of the world are interested. And they were heated matches and also historic ones too. And we are bringing all the updates that our followers and viewers need to know in the world of sports, as well as what is trending on X. So today on X, we are having the top 4 trends to be Charlotte Osei. She is the former Electoral Commissioner of Ghana. We have Michael Blackson. He is a Ghanaian American actor. We have Ken. He is a former finance minister. And also we have the National Cathedral trending. So moving straight into the main ones trending, the reason why Michael Blackson is trending, yesterday he took to his Twitter page, that is X, and he wrote a lot of things, a whole lot. And I am bringing some of the things that he said. And it is basically about the Eurobond that was implemented by the Bank of Ghana, the Finance Ministry, sorry. Eurobond was a finance ministry using foreign investors' money to pay the Ghanaian mainly to China, because China was the biggest recipient of the Eurobond debt settlement. So he said, Ghana, if we want to be respected like other great countries of the world, we have to do better. He continued by saying, who is the current Minister of Finance in Ghana? Because they fired the old one. Because they fired the old one, don't make things okay. We need answers. And we have the follow-up being, when I bought the Euro bonds, it was paying 10% interest, which will pay for the school, and then Ghana kidnapped the money to use to pay their debt. Almost 3 years later, tells me, oh, we are sorry, but we can only pay you 1.95%, and we will hold your money for 15 years. And he continued by saying, I had no plans on opening up a non-profit because I hate asking for anything, but Ghana took the $1 million I invested to use to pay for the life of the school. If it was for the love and passion I have for the unprivileged youth of Ghana, I would just hand my school to the people and walk away, but I can't. I will have to work a little longer than I expected to help those kids out. And he continued by saying, Ghana is a great, peaceful, fun place to visit. Just be careful when it comes to any business move. And he further wrote, who is the Minister of Finance in Ghana? I have beef with the guy. People of the diaspora decided to invest in our continent, and they used money to pay their debt and gave us two options. Either take a 30% cut and receive 5% interest with 11 years maturity date, or no cut but 1.9% interest with 15 years maturity rate. I'm very disappointed in my people for this. And he further wrote, when I was wiring the money from the States, my financial advisor advised me not to, but I had trust and confidence in my motherland, and they proved me wrong. And he also said, I'm taking Ghana to the World Court. They won't get away with this. Bonds only goes bad if there is some time of civil war. You don't take your customers' money and pay your debt with it. And he said, I did the Eurobonds because I figured that will help pay for the lifespan of the free school I built. Ghana decided to use our money to pay their debt to China or whoever they leave us hanging. And he said, I'm sure there are lots of people affected by this Ghana Eurobonds fiasco. So I'm fighting for all of us because people invested their life savings just to be taken advantage of. And he further said, don't get it wrong. I have the utmost respect for my motherland, but I will not allow anyone to think they will get over me. And the last one he wrote, he said, whoever the finance minister of Ghana is, you need to call me. The money I was using to keep this school going have kidnapped it. You have kidnapped it, sorry. I need my money back. And he kept on writing a lot of things. But after that, Ken Ofori-Atta too was trending. And we have Austin Wood. Austin Wood came to respond to what Michael Blackson was saying. Austin Wood says, as finance minister, the damage Ken Ofori-Atta caused to the economy of Ghana from 2017 to 2023 and the financial implications, we owe a duty to future generations to document it properly so nobody tries to whitewash him 30 years down the line. And also, Scott Bolevsky also said, no Ghanaian citizen should take the allegations lightly. They will resonate throughout the investment sector, causing hesitation among potential investors worldwide. And that is all we have for Michael Blackson and Ken Ofori-Atta. Further on, we have the National Cathedral and also Charlotte Osei trending. So with the National Cathedral, NDC yesterday embarked on Enough is Enough demo where they are requesting the EC to allow for a forensic audit, an independent forensic audit. So they marched to the EC headquarters, that is around the National Cathedral. And after the march, some of the sympathizers and the party supporters moved to the house. And at the place that is there, which the NDC call it the 50 million pit, $50 million pit, was full of, and people started jumping into it and swimming. Let's watch a video that the people were moving around and swimming in the pool of water at the cathedral grounds. The NDC sympathizers and party supporters were swimming in the pool of water at the National Cathedral pit. And we have Honorable Kesel Atofosen. He is the majority leader for the NDC in Parliament. He said, after breaking down newly constructed residential buildings of judges, the passport office, private properties, and claiming to have sunk over $58 million into a so-called national cathedral, demonstrators had unfettered access to the construction site for the very first time. The expenditure of a $58 million national cathedral is comparable to an abandoned Galamsey site. The world's most expensive hole had collected so much water that it is now the world's most expensive swimming pool. Some of the demonstrators had fun swimming in it. May God forgive those who have looted the national kitty in the name of this grand deception. And we have Roland Walker, a presenter on TV3. He also said, protesters swimming in the collected rainwater on the National Cathedral Ground Zero could mean River Jordan is already on the pit that cost Ghanaians $58 million of 951 million Ghana cedis in present day rates of dollar, the most expensive hole. And that brings us to the end of trends for today. Now let's move straight into the world of sports. So in sports today, we have President Akufo-Addo has dismissed Doji Numekevo, the Director General of the National Sports Authority, following the Confederation of African Football's decision to revoke Baba Yara Sports Stadium license to host international matches. Event before Ghana's crucial AFCON qualifier against Angola. Numekevo had to respond to query rendered by 2024, but he was the deadline. Ghana is now considering using Togo as a venue for the upcoming AFCON qualifier against Sudan if local stadiums remain unfit. Numekevo had served as interim Director General, since February 2024. And we also have Nyaho Tamakru. He is a board member for Accra House of Oak. He has called on fans to remain patient with head coach Abubakar Ouattara, despite the team's difficult to the Ghana Premier League season. Hearts have lost their opening two matches, falling to newly promoted Basaki Holy Stars and House of Folk, prompting some fans to demand the coach dismissal. However, Nyaho believes it is too early to judge and compares their situation to Manchester United's Erik ten Hag. Says they had a bumpy start to their season, but right now it looks like they are building a team. So he's sure the House of Folk will also bounce back from the bottom of the table. Now they will face Bechem in their next fixture at an venue for Accra Stadium that was closed for maintenance. That's end. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklu. Ghana Football Association seeking the assistance of Gaming Commission so the Ghana reported several betting companies including soccer bet, football, Elo bet to the mentioned games and investigate these companies such services which violate the association's GFA Ordinary Congress company has been licensed to offer odds on Ghana Premier matches. We warned that GFA's legal suit against these companies, but noted the association is open to partnerships if they comply with the rules. And that brings us to the end of sports for today. I'll hand over to Abena in the studio to take it. My name is Godwin Opoku Ochre. Thank you.
Before you go, did you say that Dr. Nyahota Maklo has likened Hearts of Oak to Manchester United?
Yes, he said Hearts of Oak is having a bumpy start to their season, just like the way Manchester United started under their new coach, Eric Ten Hag.
But is it good to be likening any sports, any football team to Manchester United at this time?
Well, I think they've all had their fair share of some bad seasons in their first season. So if he's likening it to it, I think he's somehow right, because at last season, for example, Manchester United struggled and still didn't make it to the top four.
Well.
That would earn them a place to play the UEFA Champions League.
Thank you, Godwin. Thank you, Godwin. Well, after we've looked at Trick is next with Andy. Stay with us.
Skipped and forgot to or did you forget to also book your flight, or because you didn't receive an alert reminder on your phone? It's mainly because you didn't set a reminder from your phone. My name is Sandy Opondenchi, and this is Tetrick on ABC in the morning. You're welcome to Tetrick. We do our daily activities, and then we go through the experience. most of the times you have an activity that you need to solve or meet someone, but because you didn't set a reminder, you're not able to meet that task. Right here on section in the morning, we are looking at 5 essential tips for using reminders on your smartphones. First one is set specific reminders. We all have reminders on our phones, iOS, Android, and any other gadget that you are using. You have reminders, so you need to prioritize that. You need to clearly define the task or event you want to remember and set a specific date and time on it. When you do not do that, as you'll be seeing very soon on your screen, you'll be stressed out and at the office or maybe at school, lectures, wherever it is, and you're having a lot of work on you doing at the same time. But bear in mind that you're a human being and you can't do a lot of things at the same time. The second essential tip is prioritize reminders. Use flags, colors, or priority levels to characterize reminders by importance. So when you are setting reminders on your phone and you have a lot of them, you have a lot of things to do, but just that you need to bear in mind that you need to prioritize these things that you need to do. So for instance, you need to visit someone, you need to book an appointment for your boss, you need to call on someone to do something, or maybe for a delivery. These things that you need to do are important, but yes, still there are some that are important to the others. So you need to be mindful to prioritize the reminders when you are setting on your phone. The third tip that we are giving to you is that use location-based reminders. Using location-based reminders really help you to be able to effectively work on every task that is ahead of you. An example could be that buy milk when you get to the shop, or maybe read a chapter when you are waiting for the doctor in the waiting room. This helps you to be able to do things that you hadn't necessarily planned to do, or you wouldn't have done if you had the luxury of time to do it. So anytime you are reminding or planning a reminder or setting a reminder on your phone, bear in mind to use a location-based reminder. Just that, add a location to the reminder, as I stated earlier. Something like read a chapter when I go to the hospital waiting for the doctor. The next reminder is integrate with calendar. Integrate with calendar. Also set reminder with your calendar, but the reminders on your phone too is a very great tool that you need to use. So while using that, make sure you integrate that one also into your calendar so that you could use it hand in hand. So these are the essential tips that you need to know to set a reminder to make your day productive and go free as you are supposed to. Before I take leave of you, let's look at the essential the essence of why we need to remind ourselves in everything that we do. When you remind or you set a reminder on your phone, it boosts memory and reduces forgetfulness. You don't go through the day or the week or the month wondering that, oh, I forgot to call my mom, or I forgot to send a delivery to go and submit something to my boss at work. The second is it increases productivity and efficiency. Whatever that you are working on, it makes you proactive and effective in your ways. If you're at work, if you're at lectures, if there's a work that you need to submit, because you have set reminders, it makes you to submit your assignment on time without having any trouble with your lecturers. Manage time and prioritize tasks. When you set reminders, it really helps you to manage time, and then you prioritize the important one that you need to work on. As I stated earlier in the essential point, you need to prioritize your task. There are a lot of things that you are doing or you have to work on, but you need to know that this comes first or this one comes follow, and then you need to solve that one later on. And then the next one is reduce stress and anxiety. That really keep people away from effectively and efficiently working towards their tasks is mainly because they become stressed out and anxious in the things that they do, and most of the time it leads to they forgetting, and then eventually they get to not work on anything at all, especially if it's at workplace. or even on campus. So you need to remember this really helps you to reduce stress and anxiety. And the last one is that it improves organization and planning. When you really a reminder with your smartphone, it helps you to be organized and planning everything you do, either at lectures or at your workplace. This morning we brought our audience 5 basic or essential tips they need to use when setting reminders with their smartphones, right on TechTrick.
Helps you stay ahead of yourself. Normally would say that, oh, I don't like reminders, I don't like to set alarms and all, but reminders are very important, and thank you for bringing this to us on TechTrick.
You're welcome.
Well, we have learned about reminders and how to set all of these on our phones. So that will be all for TechTrick. Let's get into Business Fix. On Business Fix, we look at the things pertinent to the business sector. Yesterday, on Monday, there was a worrying conversation. There was a worrying report on fraud in the banking system, a conversation that does not sit well with many Ghanaians, because our banks are where we keep our monies. Our banks are where we believe that when our monies end up, we are very safe and can get it at any time. But a report from the Bank of Ghana indicated that fraud in the banking system had risen up by 46%. Workers in banks who engage in fraud had risen up by 46%, a number that is staggering, a percentage that is very worrying to anybody who cares about it. So today we want to look at ensuring diligence in employment process in the banking sector, how much we should ensure that there's diligence in the employment process in the banking sector. We have joining us from the E-Crime Bureau, Mr. Eric Mensah, who is the lead for financial crimes and anti-money laundering at the E-Crime Bureau. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, sir. I hope you're also doing well.
Very well, too.
Thank you for joining us on Business Fix.
Great.
Per the report from the Bank of Ghana, what are the implications of this 46% increase in bank workers involved in fraud?
Yeah, in fact, First of all, I must thank the industry players for the detailed analysis that's actually going on generally around the subject matter. Of course, it's worrying, because when you do the trend analysis, you realize that the level of insider involvement to this fraud, right, has risen up to the 2021 figures, right? Now, it means one thing, right? That the employees have actually found some avenue or vulnerability or opportunity to commit fraud, and perhaps the perception of detection or fraud detection within their institutions has reduced. So therefore, they feel that when they commit a crime, they will not be identified, or the appropriate punishment will not be meted out to them. In fact, it will take right controls being put in place to steal these vulnerabilities if they are found, and then also properly implementing ethics and integrity management programs. Of course, this news that has gone out there is going to have some ripple effects, right, on the customer, because the phenomenon will result primarily in decreased customer confidence in banks. Some people might think that, of course, if they go and put their monies at the bank staff would actually defraud them or steal the money, right? Potential of overall reputational damage within the banking industry. So these are some of the implications of the rise in insider involvement in the fraud cases within the financial sector.
Some of them may be involved in the crimes or in the fraud because perhaps they don't think that the law will be meted out or that they would be held accountable. Could it be because there's a lack in the security in the banking?
You see, for insider involvement in crime, in fact, primarily there are three different types of insiders that you find. One is the malicious insider who has purpose in his heart that they are going to commit the crime. The other is the negligent and non-compliant insider who will not follow rules and regulations or the standard processes, right? Then the third one is accidental, which are people that are not able to identify the red flags when the frauds are about to happen, and then it goes through. So there's a lot of things that the banks will need to do to be able to, quote and unquote, keep these people in line to be able to prevent or mitigate the fraud that has bedeviled the industry.
Stakeholders have called for a review of these concerns. What do you think of these calls for the review of the employment terms?
Sorry, I didn't hear you clearly.
Stakeholders have called for a review of the employment terms for bank employees to address these grave concerns, because they believe that if this has persisted, it means that something has to be looked at when it comes to employing employees into the banks. What do you think about these calls?
Yes, it is a step or it's a call in the right direction. Of course, the employment terms, reviewing it alone will not necessarily bring down the volumes that we are seeing, but also adding up the necessary controls like conducting background checks, having, integrity and ethics management programs in place, making sure the whistleblower policies or the programs are working very well, continuous monitoring of employees when they are employed and they are working within their roles. All these things would add up to mitigating the trend that we are seeing. Just the employment terms alone might not do so much, right?
Okay, but you mentioned whistleblower. Some people believe that if I am a whistleblower, it means that let me use the popular term that we use in our palace, that Mayor Konkonseni, and nobody wants to associate with me, especially when you are not too sure if after doing your whistleblowing, your identity will be protected. So because of this, people are seeing it. You mentioned that there are malicious insiders, negligent insiders, and accidental insiders. Maybe somebody has actually seen a malicious insider. They have seen that this person has been doing these things. However, because of not wanting to be on the bad side of my colleagues, they refrain or desist from blowing the whistle, and this continues. What can banks do to protect their whistleblowers in this economy where you are not so sure of where your next meal is coming? I go and whistle blow, it doesn't go well, and the next thing I know, people have come together to take me out of where I get my source of food. In getting scared that nobody will call me Kokonseni, what do we do about this whistleblowing?
You see, there are two things. One is because of the culture that we find ourselves in, like you rightly mentioned, somebody say you are snitching on them and the rest, right? So the culture we find ourselves in a bit inhibits whistleblowing, right? Then also the systems. Now, this is where we advise, right, that there must be some establishment of confidential reporting channels so that once an employee reports a colleague that he or she is doing ABC, this channel actually protects the whistleblower, right? And then also conduct some detailed investigations on the reports that have been given out. Once the investigations come to a conclusion, in fact, a very thorough, prompt investigations, the, let me say, management, right, would take the appropriate steps to be able to approach the staff that had been, pointed out to be committing some kind of unethical behavior. Mind you, people don't want to report because they feel they would be, face some retaliation. Perhaps the manager will go and tell the person who has been reported, right? So this is a call to all employers where they ought to establish confidential reporting channels, and they ought to make sure that these whistleblowers are protected in the long run, because at the end of the day, the goal is to be able to mitigate the fraudulent activity that target our organizations.
Mr. Mensah, stay with us. Let's look at some of the data captured in the report. We'll be back.
Sure.
So the Bank of Ghana fraud report captured that staff involvement in fraudulent activities rose up by 46% from 188. This is worrying. Staff involvement rose up by 46%, and 77% of staff fraud cases involved cash theft, and it went up from 66% in 2022. The Bank of Ghana is concerned about staff fraud and urges banks to boost controls, vetting, and ethics training. The Bank of Ghana is concerned about staff fraud and urges banks to boost controls, vetting, and ethics training. The Bank of Ghana's annual fraud report aims to raise awareness of fraud trends by promoting transparency and integrity in the banking system. If there's no transparency and no integrity in the banking system, we are as good as dead. Because if I cannot trust where my money is going, where else can I trust to send my money again? The banks are supposed to be the places where I am so confident that when my money ends up, I will receive it in full when I need it. The report highlights fraud trends in banking, in SDI and PSPs, and outlines Bank of Ghana's measures to mitigate them. And data collated from the subsectors found that cases rose from 5% to 15,865, and total losses increased by 7%. These are worrying numbers, and we are hoping that it can be reduced, it can be mitigated. Mr. Mensah. Hello, Mr. Eric Mensah. Thank you for staying with us.
Great.
So these are some of the data from the fraud report. Staff involvement, 46%. Quite worrying. But in looking at all of these, how can the banking sector improve in general?
Okay, so I will first off start off with the reports, and Bank of Ghana has actually clearly outlined certain things within the report, right? specifically gearing towards the banks and then the SDIs and then payment service provided. But by and large, right, breaking it down into three technical measures. The banks will need to put some kind of technical measures, right, to be able to protect their systems. So, for example, they mentioned fraudulent withdrawals, and one of the elements within the fraudulent withdrawals is people actually, withdrawing monies from customers' accounts. So, there, a technical measure that can be put in place, right, is the banks implementing some kind of strong multi-factor authentication. So once you're able to download the bank's application, the bank should provide an avenue where the user or their clients would have this two-step verification to be able to secure their account, so that nobody is able to go in there and take some funds in there. There's something we even call device fingerprinting. So here, when the system identifies that a new device has logged on to the system, and they are able to flag it up and then try to review that for further action, right? Even on the people risk, right? One of the key things that I think I mentioned earlier is doing background checks on staff, right? Another thing is to do some capacity building, so training on fraud and cybersecurity is essential, and usually we advise that it should be periodic because the schemes keep on changing, right? And these trainings must be, practical in nature, because sometimes banks will say they've done trainings for their staff. However, the trainings are just theoretical. So it should be practical in nature. If it is phishing attacks you are teaching them, these things should be practical so that the staff see how practical phishing looks like, right? Another bit to look at generally is regularly informing customers about the latest trends. It can be via SMS, it can be via even community forums, and even I really like what you are doing at ABC, where you are educating your customers on what to look out for and analyzing the industry trends, right? So these are just a few I would mention when it comes to protecting the industry when it comes to fraud, right?
To rid ourselves of these fraud, especially the employee-induced fraud. A lot of customers trust their bankers so much so that anything they hear is what they do. If their bankers tell them that do this, they will do it because they trust them so much. So as a customer, what should I do so that I don't fall prey to some unscrupulous bankers?
So generally, right, as customers, we have to generally stay aware of the trends, right? Recently, you see people circulating on TikTok and other social media platforms, some of the schemes that the criminals are using. You should always stay updated with that. Now, one of the things you should also do as a customer is to always keep your personal information, particularly your identity, right, safe. Your identity card, your IDs, it should be safe, because within this country, the Ghana card is one of the key things that we use for our banking transactions. So once you leave your Ghana card ajar and a criminal gets hold of the details of your Ghana card, they might use it either to register a SIM or do any other thing. So please, as viewers who are listening and watching now, keep your personal information super safe. Also set up alerts on your banking system. So if you have email alert, you have SMS alert when you deposit money or you withdraw money, it's a very good mechanism to track if something is going wrong, right? So that once you have the alert and somebody fraudulently withdraws money, you get that alert and then you take immediate action. So it's so important. Now on the SIM swap, in fact, someone in the report there was an element of SIM swap. Please, as listeners and viewers, right, what you have to do is that always be alert of signs of the SIM swap. For example, sudden loss in the cell signal or your cell service, and then you see alerts like new device notifications. You get an email that a new device has logged into your banking app and the rest. You should take very prompt action with regards to it, right? So anytime you suspect you have been a victim of something like a SIM swap, please contact your mobile carrier immediately to regain control of your number, and then also inform your bank and other critical service providers so that at least you'll be able to mitigate the fraud that is likely to hit you.
Thank you, Mr. Eric Mensah.
Thank you so much.
So Mr. Eric Mensah is the lead financial crimes and anti-money laundering at the E-Crimes Bureau. He has helped us with this conversation of ensuring diligence in the employment process in the banking sector. Like I said, a report from the Bank of Ghana has indicated that bank workers involved in fraud have increased by 46%, a very worrying information, a very worrying trend, and we are looking that the banking sector will be sanitized more and sanitized further so that we can have all of the trust and confidence in our banks when we go to bank with them. Mr. Mensah has touched on the fact that you should, as a customer, keep your identity safe. Don't share your Ghana card details and other details that might compromise your bank accounts, that might compromise your banking app and all. He has also said that keep up with your banking system. You have your bank app on your phone. Kindly check anytime you deposit money and you receive a notification. Track your notifications, track your deposits, track it when you take money out so that you know which money you have and which money you don't have, so that you don't fall prey to some unscrupulous people. And finally, he mentioned with the issue of the SIM swap, if you realize that somebody is trying to compromise your SIM, another device is trying to get into your SIM, quickly inform your mobile carriers, inform the network you use, inform them so that they can get your SIM or your number back for you, and then quickly get to your bank. Inform your bankers that this is what is happening so that your accounts will also be safe. We are in times where people are very unscrupulous, and you also need to guard yourself against them. This is all for Business Fix this morning. Well, away from Business Fix, we want to hear what you as a person are saying, because your voice matters, especially in this election period, in this election season. It is for that reason why we bring you Ghana Speaks.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there have been conversations around having a presidential debate. Will it happen or not? This is Ghana Speaks.
Right, good morning. You are welcome to another section of Ghana Speaks here on ABC in the morning, where we engage with constituents across the country ahead of the elections for them to assess the parliamentary candidates in their constituency and see which one they will be voting for come December 7th. And today we are live from Kaneshie in the Greater Accra region, the Okankwe South constituency, to engage with some constituents ahead of the December 7th polls. In this constituency, there are two key contenders: the sitting NP and Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dakwa Newman, and the opposition NDC presenting a candidate to rival her. So we'll be engaging these constituents for them to assess the two candidates and look at which one is going to help the Okankwe South constituency and which one they will be even voting for or urging their other electorate within the constituency to vote for come December 7th. I am Samuel Nimabo, as we usually do. We move into the conversations quickly, and I have with me here four two ladies and two gentlemen that will be helping me to have this conversation. And on my right, sir, Pacho, actually, Pacho, saying.
I am Alfred Kwaku Donko.
Okay, Mr. Alfred Kwaku Donko. Auntie, Pacho, saying.
Lady Pat.
Okay, Auntie Pat. And now, Pacho.
Millicent.
And Pacho, Pacho.
Ebenezer
Mensah. So these are the four constituents and electorates within the Okaigbe South constituency that will be engaging on for them to assess the performance of the city MP and even assess the two candidates in the upcoming elections come December 7th. Pacho, me shasia afro ho. Ohwe Okaigbe constituency mo ha. Since 1996. MPP winning some embassy 2020 MPP Nessa winner Dakoa Newman and Esa winner. Also within this parliamentarians, MPs now especially Newman within the last 4 years. Wabon modern hours or deserve say Okaigbe South for Esa Mano another 4 years.
Oh, okay. Me da sipa haya na meso metwaba na sa 4 years ya etwam no in fact wayya no ma bi ho a me dia dance bi say hospitals no and library so wayya bi afi me anso ma ni piase o chitu school for bi mo school fees any ade na am say sa 4 years no niam bi a wayya ye na bi ana mo boss no. But now the expecting no this year no so ye kan ho akwan hodo bi a esese eno de onyi ne ho fi so ye firi ho efiti article ko da koma no em se sa kwan no ade a ha adwen pa sa ye bro no yeso ti na kaneshi so no oba kaneshi ankasa so a ye wo bia bi nkitikiti bi wo so asese sa ne man wo ye kan because wo hwa sa Ebrono yiso ha no adwuma nheda eni ha pisa eniti ye wadwuma kakra bi wo ho aka esese oye eka ho iti emse kakra metimi aka bo anu.
Okay, Auntie Pacho mami bra so ohwe Dakoa Newman waye oye sisi a oye Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protections and ma ho sem ne nkwala ho sem on na hwe so wo Ghana ha nyina within mo emma mo wo constituency mo ha embo ben pana Dakoa edi amamo ewo ida mo business mo ananse mo fie den na waye amamo area mo.
Okay, me da sefa me da metimi ade ho adanse ka ye help
insurance
se ma otimi ye free screening breast cancer ne ade ena enkwala so even enkwala nko a otimi ye health insurance ma ye be free ntemi de metimi ye di one dance so wo ya ade wo sa ne man ho pa e de wo ye pa free health screening de wo ye bebre nti for enkwala
Patterns and they went to about very much. Like I say, about parliamentary, especially parliamentary, about our constituency, what to our since 1996. Over Aguam
96 years, Senator Abawa. The best I think about and said, Mayor Ameda, then I was one on the free man, that will need my part. Finally, said, why are you a man? I can't be a hand more for a enemy. But God will be about better 4 years. Even if you want to man, 1 year, 4 years. Obi ntimi kwa ngwa kwatina baabi ase MP emfa ntimi se sane manyina at the sport o mani ni nse be ya ye man se 4 years nsa nka ho ni nsa nhwe se ye obeye ye no aye bi aka ho na aboa ye ye ka se sane ne animu ya no kwanya me Ghana ye nko ye nimita de bia be koso ata be ye tina be 4 years die enye yi se oba ase MP a betimi ase sane manyina atwansa amana ye je nsa ma no another 4 years nsa bibi
now, we see yes, I'm another 4 years. But what we are, MVP for what for about was our constituency. On yet, new plan person on our field party for the same party now, why they more continue almost. Abuam, 1 year, so in terms of development, in this constituency.
Society and I said, come go there. Be a waha. Yaba, and I'm getting 4 years here. So, why you're witness a sunny back in our one side. It is some man was 4 years, they come with you. I know, say, if you are maybe a uncle, you went to me onion, or bit me a day. I yet, I'm an idea. The baby MP here, but maybe this year with them, the matter is a sakaka. But I am MP was I never them with them. It's immediate that one idea. Yes, some months are 4 years. The man 4 years now, they said immediate went to answer some. Yeah, 4 years. So, we see what to about her. I check Canada. We share about parliamentary elections. Will you say, Abuamu, our constituency?
About what Yentimi can say, because as I wish about what Yamana, Yetimi, you will be a siwo, a manity enemy. The Abato Modia, Abuana, dear Bakwan, what is say, Yenya, Nippenina, Cassadi, Panona 100%. Yenya, there's on a yet, said, would depend you know, tones and Yenya. Though we inside the million Dika Kayano, Dakua or Bayan. Yes, I will beat my baby. I said, 4 years, something more will be set on making demand. In fact, I will bet my baby going to me. It is that's 4 years here, but that's a year, I'm a new man. After when you're 8 years, as you say, I was almost something was not to have my they can do this and grassroots testing NDC, so another part which is 2024 NDC and MPP. Do you want to say a mass will say move free MPP who can now move NDC, which is a den on more mama?
Well, to me, pardon, or come oh, we bet me, I say, MPP, Mamonia, MPP, Mamonia. But me party MPP, Mamonia, and some to my man, this pass to the line. And the Amaso, MPP, Nana, all the way.
I didn't say MPP in your crowd, to my
oh, there be Omonia, and I saw at least for my back. Omadi ka omuso ma baby. Enye MPP nkwana. Ya shasa say me dem atwa 2 times. We dem 3
time out.
Entino omuso ma baby. Enu so ehu omo performance. Entino said the omo kan say Adomako ba obese ya ti abele ofa. Obi aba o de oba e wo de obeka. Ene oba wie nso a e wo de obeye. Entino we no enye bibi foforo. Enye bibi foforo ya ka say oh afena ye beto MP abantino we de afena oba no obeye bibi ama ya sit opa sa no mu nyina tie. Enti ye ka say se sa ono so ba se de ye ka say we Dakwa onye saa no se benya ne ho asema ka saa because eju omu nyina saa no enti no ye sama Dakwa 4 years ne ka de
anti mama mbra so o adwem no kan se person ka yenko yensisa Dakwa emfa Newma emfa Adomako mbra NSM ra o hwe NSA se what o chere se what dinachi ahwe dia oye eni ade why would you say Okanfe South constituency for me omuma NDC for no 4 years and omuma no chance because my try my MPP for say why would you say omuma NDC for so chance kaka
pacho me das Dakwa beba no o shebo bebre but one be this omo nyina the same thing enti no oba esu 4 years ye hu say waye bi do say wanye ne nyina enti no anka yema Adomako so chance no no so mbra no beye de obeye ne enhwe different between oni ni Dakwa enti no me de to me ni de anka yen system ne enhwe de ono so ba obetimi abeye omo nyina ba omo kan de obetimi aka but obetena so a ombeye de obeye Dakwa ba ye o so be my machine na mesua de pam wo soro o so be my machine obetro e di ni nyina actually wo frɛ na odi enda echina wa me cha machine oh yaso ye de ani tumi a bi kura nko be my machine anka ye mu bebre no e betimi aso eduma ye ne akɔ ani but wan be my sa machine na yaso ye de ani tumi wadi ye hwiambo enti ena esu so oba abe ye nyama bebre enti no ye system na anka ye hwɛ sɛ oba ampa sɛ obetimi abe ya na enti no ye anka me madwin kire no de anka ye system hwɛ because Dakwa aba ehu de waye ena we esu so oba abe ye nyama bebre enti anka ye system hwɛ
okay let's say jama me brow so what na area mu ha che o hwa eden empuntunjuma eden ne den na yam problem adwuma kwan ensio eden na yam ha pa ewo area mu
aha no de but adwuma sem eka ana fe so ye gata ni mu no fanya me ni mu ni enkoyi kura gata ne de mu ne enkoyi kura fi ankasa wa hanso bon pa adwuma sem ni ade na fa enso enkwasi asem ne football of bon kwa da ne mu ye ya no so maniema ntimi eden enkoyi de bia SMP ni betina so a ade de bia ne 4 years nya asem bia eden e kan dia ne sa ne man to mo ntimi asesa ne man na dia to kwale MPP obeba ha bia no obre to kwale nya me ni ana Ghana za de ba ko so me hu ne se me MPP ni na se MPP ni betina se ne man enkoyi asem betu atia no e de se metu atia ase de bia e travel eno na e haye no ze betima ahwe sa ne man ne atima ko pie e man Ghana no ama na kwale ni no e be bo ani nya se me MPP ni ete so ne man enkoyi twa se wono ana wo se metoma no dabi ye nya sa ne man no ye hu se sa ne anipa wo ba ye no me de to ne nyema wa be ye ho no ma e betimi aboa wo man no de sa ma ne chance wo fra kan ho a ye mfa man nka ho na eden emua
o kire se o to amada kuma not because we are MPP ni but na adwumanti
me na adwumanti ana ma to ma no yeah
okay
because NDC ni na wo ba na me nyanhunu ni wono se di ositiye ye sa ma ne 4 years kan ho bie mu dia ene ebe hu da ko ane modern ba eden bobo
okay. That's it. These are the voices of some constituents within the Okanfe South constituency of the Greater Accra region. As you've heard, they spoke in chief. So I'll do a bit of summary. The two on my left, the lady and the man on the far left, are saying that they would vote for Dakwa Newman come December 7th for her work. And the lady says that even if she hasn't performed, she will still vote for Daquan Newman because she's an NPP person. But the man on my right is also saying that he will equally vote for Daquan Newman based on the works she has done in this constituency. However, the lady on my far right has argued that Dakwa doesn't deserve another 4th term. However, the constituent of Okaigbe South constituency should vote for change come December 7th, 2024. They should test the NDC parliamentary candidate in the person of Ernest Adomako to see what he also has for the constituency. And she believes that a change in the voting pattern would translate into development for the constituency. As I have mentioned at the beginning, this constituency is largely an NPP dominated constituency, as the party NPP has won in this constituency since 1996, and they are seeking to win once again on December 7, 2024. Let's see whether the people of Okaigbe South change and vote for an NDC candidate or they will maintain the NPP sitting parliamentary candidate.
In the morning, I am Abna Manti. We are going into our main discussion for today. Yesterday, the NDC held its Enough is Enough demonstration against the Electoral Commission. NDC's demonstration was about the voters register. NDC says that we need a forensic audit, an independent forensic audit of the voters register. And because of that, they hit the streets of Accra to demonstrate, to tell the EC that we are serious about this. We are very, very serious about this. We need the forensic audit and we need it now. So we'll be looking at the fallout of the demonstration yesterday. The demonstration wasn't just in Accra yesterday, it was across all of the regions. The NDC demonstrated all over Ghana, and in every region they submitted the petition to the EC office in the region. So today we are looking at the aftermath of the demonstration. Enough is enough. Joining us on this conversation is Yaira Deku. He is the Deputy Director of IT for the National Democratic Congress, the opposition NDC. Good morning, Yaira.
Good morning, my sister. How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. How are you too?
Very well.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning to your viewers and listeners.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. First of all, congratulations on your almost peaceful demonstration yesterday. After the demonstration yesterday, the communications director says that the EC has 1 week to respond to your petitions. If the 1 week elapses, what further measures will the NDC take?
Good morning once again, and good morning to your viewers and listeners. I think it was a clear message from the communication officer, that's Sam Jaffe. But I think what I would just say is that when we get to the river, we'll see how we'll cross it. We'll be giving them the 1 week ultimatum. If they are not able to do it, when we get there, we'll cross it.
But you want us to wait until the 1 week is done before we cross the river? I thought at least you would give us a little insight into what you'll be doing when it elapses.
Yes, but you see, there are certain things that you can give out and there are certain things you can't give out. So that's what I'm saying, that when we get there, we will cross it. But the EC is trying to say, I've seen that they've responded to us late in the afternoon. That was, I think it was in around 1 a.m. that they've seen that they are still preparing their credible register. So they are assuring us that everything will be in place. But we are also saying that the credible register that they are still preparing, it's even uncredible. So we are just waiting for them. 1 week, they will take it up from there.
Yeah,
I'm sure when the time comes, it will be communicated to the media.
Isn't it premature to say that the credible register you are preparing is already uncredible? Isn't it too premature to say that?
My sister, if you on the day of the 7th of December, you get there and your name is not in the register, how would you feel? We know the stance of the EC already. They think that, to say the exhibition is the process of I have always have a different opinion that exhibition is there to correct the register. Let me ask you, how many Ghanaians go out to go and check for their names in the register? Less than 10% do that. I didn't really go. I just used the app to check. And a lot of people did not go. And you know, there's a extent of where whatever we have done, we will be able to see. There are certain things too we can't see unless there's a forensic audit. That is why we are insisting on a forensic audit, because that is the only way to come out with any discrepancies in the register and in the IT systems.
Okay. Yara, you have also petitioned Parliament on the voters register, and by going to Parliament, what do you seek to get from Parliament?
You know, Parliament can summon the EC to come and answer questions, and so that's where we've taken it there. So I think they can summon the EC to ask them certain questions and maybe force them to also do the forensic audit. So that's where we've taken it there. At least we did not only petition the the parliamentary petition, the foreign embassies in Ghana and other CSOs and other bodies. So we're hoping that all of them will take interest in this thing, because as you say, the cost of violence is cheaper. The cost of forensic audit is cheaper than violence.
Yara, you are asking for a forensic audit. You are saying that the cost of it is cheaper than violence. By asking for this forensic audit, what are some of the objectives you seek to achieve by the forensic audit? Can you take us through them?
Okay, so when we say forensic, don't worry, we are asking of two things, main things: forensic audit on the IT systems and an audit on the register. Now, when we say forensic audit, it's just a simple thing, just to see if in any of their IT architecture there's been any criminal activities. For example, there's been unauthorized activity on their system where some people can get into the system and do what they are not supposed to do. And when we say the auditing of their register, what we are talking about is to see that if anybody in the 2020 register has been transferred illegally to any other place without that person authorizing that transfer, just like what happened at Pusiga and other several places where people did not go to the EC to apply for transfer, but they were transferred by an EC officer sitting in his office and doing that. And you know, one thing that is very critical that every Ghanaian needs to call for this forensic audit. In our presentation to the EC, they clearly admitted that there was a flaw in their system. When I say the flaw in their system, I mean there was not liveliness part in their system. That is we know when in the biometric system, when you're going to do any transfer, especially in the case of the EC, you need to be physically present there so that they can at least take your picture and take your live picture, and take your biometric. Now, in this case, what happened in the clear case of the Pusiga issue is that the EC officer just took some people's voters' ID. And what he did was that when it got to the point for them to say that take a picture to confirm the person's identity, the person just used the person's voter ID and the system was able to pick it without the person being present. And that is a very serious flaw in the system. And we think that there are more into that than what we have seen. Because don't forget that if these people had not reported the case to us, we wouldn't have seen that this is what is happening. In fact, the EC themselves even admitted, the IT director, the consultant, Dr. Freud, even admitted that they didn't know until we reported it. That was when they noticed it and they tried to correct it. Now, in trying to correct it, that means there are so many things that has happened in their system that needs a forensic audit. That means a third eye to check. In programming, what we say is that a programmer does not test his own software. So if I develop a software, I don't test it myself. I give it to a different person to test it. Now, EC did not test the software. It was a third party that did it, everything for them. Now, out of that, and NDC have come out to see that this is what is in your system. And we believe that there's more into it than what we have seen. So that's why we are calling for an independent forensic audit onto their IT system. Bring all the stakeholders, NDC, NPP, bring your experts on board so that we all do it. And I don't see why this thing should be a headache to the EC.
I think that we should give the EC more time. The EC will be presenting the voters register very soon for all of us to go through. Don't you think that we should wait until then, when everybody has also gone back again to check, and then you can follow up on this? Don't you think this is quite premature?
The data, the EC, once they gazette the polling station codes and they give you the final register, there is nothing you can do. So this is the time to fight for it now, before everything comes out. Once the final register comes out, there's nothing you and I or anybody can do. This is the time to do anything before they prepare the final register. So that is why we are calling for the forensic audit. We need not to wait for the old register for the final register to come out. And don't forget that once it comes out, as I said, there's nothing you can do and there's nothing I can do.
Well, some have also said that your party is holding the whole electoral process to ransom with your demands, especially with your request for a review of the electoral calendar ahead of the elections. We have barely 4 months to the elections and you're asking for a review. Many people believe that you are holding the electoral process to ransom.
Something that we are very, very keen interested in. We can't hold it to ransom. In fact, if there's anybody who is supposed to pay a particular attention in terms of who wins or how the EC elections is conducted, is the NDC, because we are the incoming government, and if there's anything that we want the election to be held fast, and so that we can elect Mr. Solicitor President Mahama to come and rescue this country. But the issue that we are holding the EC into ransom is neither here nor there. We want the right things to be done. The cost of fixing this thing is cheaper than allowing it to go free.
Okay. Yara, we'll come back to you shortly. We want to take some excerpts from the demonstration yesterday.
Those who are leading us into temptation must give way. And that is what this thing is about. We say that, look, you have been given work to do as electoral commissioners. The constitution that you claim gives you independence to act. It is the framework that is given by the people to regulate the power they are giving to you. So if you want to declare yourself independent of the constitution that regulates your conduct, then you are on your own. You are not working for the masses. And so the masses must let you know that you are put there to perform a function, and you are ultimately responsible and answerable to the masses. So the masses must rise. The masses must rise and then demand their right. Because you see, you cannot build a democracy in a country where you have docile citizens who are reduced to bystanders and watching. We cannot be spectators. So we must actively participate in the way things are shaped up in between elections. And that is what we are doing. We are perfectly expressing the democracy we fought for. And I have given the warning to the youth of this country that those who want peace must prepare for war. If you are not ready to neutralize those people who are undermining the democracy, you will end up in a war where you, the youth, will have no option. You will be conscripted by force to go and fight and die. We don't want to get there. That is why we are removing the elements that could create that mistake.
And every democracy at one point in time must be tested. Ghana's democracy is under serious threat now. And we want to prevail. We shall overcome. Every democracy has the risk of producing a tyrant. But what tests the resilience of that democracy is our ability to fight the tyrant and defeat him and install democracy once again. From 1992, it is today that our democracy is being subjected with the test, and we shall prevail. The
democracy lovers shall prevail. Elections alone does not guarantee democracy. It is democratic-minded persons, democratic-minded citizens who are ready to fight for their rights who can guarantee democracy. Once upon a time,
we want the commission to review and correct all the unauthorized transfers which they themselves have admitted to. We want them to adopt a revised timetable for electoral activities. Why do we say so? We don't have a credible register as yet, and printing of ballot papers and other activities are based on a credible voter register. So we think that this forensic audit must take place. We must get a credible register acceptable to all stakeholders before the other activities such as printing of ballot papers commences. And finally, we want the commission.
Speaking with Yaira Deku, who is the Deputy Director of IT for the National Democratic Congress. Hello, Yaira. Thank you for still staying with us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yaira, you are requesting for a forensic audit, an independent forensic audit. The EC has also said that they have the capacity, they are in charge, they have the capacity to conduct this forensic audit. Don't you think that their request from your party is an infringement on the EC's work?
I was asking for a forensic audit on the EC's work, especially when they have clearly admitted to what the wrongs at their office. This cannot be an infringement on their rights or on their work. It's clearly because as a stakeholder in the election, you want to go into the election with the free and fair elections, making sure that at least everyone votes. We know the plans of what the EC wants to do, and we are keeping it, and we're just waiting patiently for the register, for the final register. You know, at the presentation at the office, the EC, we gave them a 1 TB hard drive. You ask yourself, why haven't they brought the hard drive to us? They promised that they were going to give us the corrected data that they've done, which they think that it will solve all of our problems that we have raised. Ask the EC, why haven't they given us those data? What is happening? Why are they keeping our drive and they've not given us those data to at least check to see if all the things that they have said is true? And don't forget that you trust this EC at your own risk. You know what happened at SAR? Before SAR, they told us the 2020 elections, they promised that the SAR people will go and vote. They will vote in presidential and vote in parliamentary. But at the end of the day, a day before the elections, they came out to say that SAR cannot vote and that they can only vote for the presidential. And you want a party like the National Democratic Congress to trust the EC to produce a credible register, and that is an infringement on what they are working? Definitely not. We are stakeholders, and we need to make sure that the right things are done. Nobody should be taken out of the register, and for them to even accept that the system was flawed with that allow people to enter, to transfer people without their knowledge, it will be a cause of worry to you and I, because Ghana cannot stand the risk of going back to the old days of where things, uncivil things happens and other things. We are in the democratic world, and if there's something wrong with the EC register, we need to make sure that the right things are done, and that is all that we are calling for. But the whole issue is that, why is the EC afraid of? Somebody is calling for a forensic audit, which if you even admit and we go through it, and you don't have anything behind the scenes, you should be happy that you'll come out victorious. So why are you afraid of? If you are there and you think you've not committed any crime, why should you be afraid that if a police says they are coming to investigate you? If you know you've not committed any crime, you shouldn't be worried. So what is their fear? You know, the initially requested that what we wanted to do, we requested for a live broadcast. They declined it. We don't know why they declined it, because don't forget that their EC, their motto is, one of them is transparency, integrity, and fairness. So if your motto is transparency and you want to operate in an opaque environment, that is definitely not the right thing to do. So for us to call for the register, for the audit on the register, I think it's not an influence on their work.
And of the EC as an independent body. EC has been set up as an independent body. They are holding elections for us in this country, and a political party says that we want to bring, or we want an independent forensic audit of the register. The EC is an independent body on their own. Won't you be undermining their work as an independent body?
As an independent body, under Afarijan, they conducted an audit on the register, and Madam Charlotte said it was done. I'm sure that time they were still an independent body. In fact, Jemensa in 2015, when she was the person in charge of IEA, is it director or something, she even called for an independent audit onto the register. At that time, it was the EC, not an independent body.
Yeah, what you are requesting for is an external, independent audit. You want to bring an external person. It's
external
like you are
person.
dictating.
But the one that was done, was it not an external person?
It was by the EC themselves.
No. They brought in other bodies to also be part of it. And you see, bringing in an external body does not mean that you leave it for the external body to conduct it. You bring the external experts, you bring in the EC experts, all the stakeholders, political parties and everything. And we have even suggested that UNDP should do it. And UNDP is ready and willing to do it for us. They are part of our stakeholders in these elections. They are an international.
People believe that you are trying to dictate what the EC must do. Because if the EC cannot also dictate what the NDC must do, or no other party can dictate what the NDC must do as a party, as a body, you should not be able to also dictate to the EC what the EC. You are saying that the UNDP is ready to do that for you. The EC should be able to have their own decision, to make their own decision, Yaira.
Okay, so when doing the limited registration, they did the wrong tabulation, and we posted it and corrected them, and they corrected it. We're redetecting it to them. When we submitted the names to them about people who are, we did a presentation and made them aware of these people, the discrepancies in their register, and they admitted and they said they are correcting it. We're redetecting it for them. Definitely not. It's something that we have seen and it's wrong, and we are asking you to correct it. And that is all we are asking for. And that does not mean that we are dictating to you. If you think that the thing that you have done is good, why are you afraid of forensic audit? So, as I said, there are instances that we've corrected the EC. In fact, during the limited registration, we had to even go, there was during an IPAC meeting that I was present. It was getting to a time that the errors were becoming so much. So we decided not to publish it, but to meet them at IPAC and gave it to them. In fact, when we gave it to them, Jane Mensah herself acknowledged it and thanked us for that. We were definitely not dictating to them. We are partners in this whole elections, and we seek our interests first. We seek the interests of the collective interests of Ghanaians first. There is no way that any of our voters should be disenfranchised, whether the person is NDC, NPP, UNDP, or whatever. We want the right thing to be done. Let's go into the elections with a fair playing ground. Whoever wins is elected as president, and we move on. But we cannot go into an election where, with discrepancies in the register, where people will go to the polling stations and will not find their names there. People have been transferred to places. It's not right, and that is all that we are seeking for. Just call for an audit. I'm sure you yourself, if there's anything that you've not done anything wrong, and they said the police is coming to investigate you, you insist that I'll not allow my police to investigate me. If you say that, that means you've done something wrong. So what is the EC hiding from it? And I was surprised to see my brother's, what's the name, Nana B, posting yesterday that they will insist that no independent body comes and audit the register. What are they also afraid of? Is the EC taking instructions from the MPP? They should be worried, because for people to, and I'm sure the MPP has not even come out to say anything, because if people's names are not in the register, it should be a worry to all political parties.
Hello, Yaira.
Hello.
Yes. Yaira, you mentioned that UNDP is ready to do the external auditing for you. In getting external forensic auditors to come and audit the register, what will be the composition of the auditors that will get the work done as you need it to be done?
No, clearly we will set out the rules and the rules for the auditing for them, and I think it's going to be a stakeholders meeting. The EC themselves, all political parties. Then we set out the rules for them, and we tell them that this is what we want to do. And forensic audit normally in our IT section, normally you want to check if there's any unauthorized activity on your systems, if there's any criminal activities, if there's any data breach. Then they will all come out with a report. And as we stated in our petition yesterday, once they do that, they should publish the report for everybody to see. And if they publish the report and they say there's nothing in the EC system, we move on. So what is everybody afraid of? I don't know why I don't know why they are insisting that they will not do any audits. Because, for example, if somebody, this morning, we've received about 15 people who have also come out to say that their names were not in the register. You see, that's why I'm saying that when we went there, we did a presentation to them and we showed them the methodology that we use in arriving at all these things. And there's a point that our methodology will reach that we cannot detect everything unless somebody reports it. So if somebody does not come and report that my name is not in the register, it will be very difficult, or have been transferred. It will be very difficult for us to see. Let me give you a typical example. During the presentation, I did the presentation myself. The EC elections, the IT consultant, immediately we started it. There was a case of a voter who, in the 2020 register, voted at True Vine Preparatory School in Okakwe North. 2023, his name was still at True Vine Preparatory School. Now, in the 2024 register, as they give it to us, when you check the absent list for that particular polling station, that person's name is no more. They said that absent, but they've transferred him to a special register, that is Tesano Police Station. Now, when you go and check the Tesano Police Station 2 list, his name is there that he has been transferred to that particular polling station. Now, you check the transfer list, this person's name is not there. The place you say you've transferred him there, his name is not there. You go, okay, let's check his original police station. His name is not there. Check the multiple list. His name is not there. Check the exception list. His name is not there. Then, at that point, the EC IT consultant requested that we should give him the voter's ID for them to check in their system for us, to see whether what we are saying is true or not. Now, we willingly gave him that voter ID number. Now, he checked and he said his name is in there. And I said, wow, if his name is in there, okay, can you tell us the polling station assigned to him in your system that you claim his name is there? And surprisingly, he started mentioning D010. That is in voter region. Everybody was laughing in the room. In fact, we took about 30 minutes to discuss this. It took Jemensa that we should beg that they went and do the investigation and tell us. As of now, they've not told us anything about it. And so on that day, the person will go to Tesano Police Station or go to his old police station, True Vine Police Station, and his name will not be there. He has been transferred to voter region. And if we are drawing attention to the EC, is that means that we are dictating to them? Definitely not. We are telling them the register has a problem with it and needs to be solved. If you really understand an IT system, I have always said that there's no way we should have this kind of discrepancies in the register, because you are putting everybody's data in a pool. And when you are migrating data, somebody was citing an example that you are migrating data, that's why it causes. See, if you are migrating data from one database to the other, the least you can expect from that migration is a lot of data. The least you can expect is a loss of data and not authoring of data. So if you are transferring me from A to B and my name is Yaira Koko, when you put my name in B, my name should not be Yaira Kwesi. It should not change my name. It should still be the same thing. And we are drawing the attention to the EC that they have a problem. And if you have a problem, you need to solve it together with your stakeholders. And that's all we are requesting for. Nothing more, nothing less.
It has a problem. Okay, Yaira. Yaira, yesterday, there were some pockets of violence in the Ashanti region during the demonstration. Has your party reached out to your members that were affected during the violence?
Yes, they've reached out to them, and I think the regional secretary is making a report, and they've even issued a statement to that effect about the EC claim that there was no violence, there was no shooting and everything. They've issued a statement to the effect. You see, these elections that we are going through, it's not going to be the elections as usual. It's a Ghanaians against the NPP, and I'm happy the way our people are vigilant and made sure that what happened previously will not happen again. You clearly had a meeting with the regional executives, and there was clearly stated that you go and hand over the petition to the EC officer at the regional coordinating council. Now we get into the middle of the road, then you block the road that you will not let us go further. Allow the leaders to even go. You said no. And that the EC person will come. Meanwhile, the EC person too is still in there. Nobody has come. So you see, when they provoked our people, and that led to that. You can see that across the whole country, everything was successful on the Kumasi, Ashanti region, that they blocked them on the road, that they will not allow them to go there. But meanwhile, that is where we agreed on that we're going to we'll present the petition to the EC regional chairman there.
Yesterday, the national chairman of your party, Johnson Esiedun Kitia General Mosquito, he made some comments, and in the comment, he was talking about docility, that the youth of Ghana shouldn't be docile. And in the same comments, he used words like war in the comments. Don't you think that it is too early to be using such words, and we should even expunge the word war from our vocabulary during this election process, because there are certain people that will quickly tag on specific words in our sentences and then go on a spree with it. Don't you think that we should expunge these from our vocabulary as a people during these elections, especially knowing the track record of your national chairman? He has a lot of experience in elections. He has experience in our political system. Don't you think that we should remove certain words from our vocabulary in this period?
I have not listened to what he said, but I know he said that in context. For example, my dear, we went into Ayawaso West Logan elections, by elections. You and I know what happened there. Ghanaians can testify what happened there. To date, who has been prosecuted for those things? We know the known faces who attack people, beat people. As at now, there's this young man who can no longer walk. Nothing has been done about it. We moved on to the 2020 elections. 8 people were killed. Did you hear the president say anything about it? Did you hear anybody say anything about it? Enough is enough. You see, we cannot continue like that. There cannot be the freedom without justice. Justice must prevail. Once the people know that if you commit this crime, you'll not be subjected to any punishment, they will continue to do it. And the other opposition see that, okay, if I know that this is what will happen and the people will also do it, they will also resist and make sure that the right things are done. You see,
yeah,
and I was happy
you're saying that somebody got hurt during the Ayawaso. In talking about war, Yaira, it doesn't mean that people will not engage in it. My question is actually about drumming some of these words because it will cause people to engage in it. If it happened in Ayawa, so and it hasn't been looked at, as you are saying, do you think that mentioning the words more and more would rather cause people not to engage in it? Because if at that time one person got hurt, if one person got hurt and this time I'm mentioning these words again and again, don't you think others are going to be incited, and then more away from one person, now 10 people can get it, 20 people can get it, 30 people can get it?
In our account balance, they say what? Say kuku kuku enjaya, kika kika so enjaya. If sounding those words will make sure that the right things are done, why not? I'm all for it.
Well, Yaira, but are you aware, or do you know that the posturing of your party in these few months being very your party seems to look antagonistic? Are you aware that it is inciting some of your members to believe that towards the elections we have to be very hard, we have to be beyond diligent, abrasive, and aggressive?
Would you sit down for somebody to infringe on your rights? Infringe of your right, the first one, second one, and third one, you still sit down and make sure that nothing is done? When the authorities have not taken any action about it, would you still sit down and say, okay, let them continue infringing on my rights? Would you allow that? Let's face the truth. Let's face the truth. There has been an incident that nothing happened about it. And you want a political party like an NDC to go into an election and the same thing will happen and we will keep quiet. The moment, that's why I stated it, the moment that people commit crime and they know that they will not be prosecuted for it, it emboldens them. Why don't we look at that side too? It seems that you focus more on the NDC side, that we are telling our people to be vigilant, to stand for their right. Are you not talking about those other people who are trying to infringe on others people's rights? We leave them, so the NDC should be the soft spot for everybody to punch. But the other side, we leave them. Today, what's the name? One of their guys, he's at the National Security. He's working free. He has been embodied. He went there, his pictures were there. He went to the commission. He accepted committing the crime. There's a white paper on it. The white paper stated clearly that this person should be prosecuted. As of now, he's still working at the National Security. And you think me, if this person is still working at the National Security, and I'm sure they've even increased his salary, and you think me, I should sit down and say that, oh, Papa and nephew are born in nephew, so we should allow those things to happen? Definitely not. You media people, I think you should also go to the other side and make sure that they do the right thing.
Well, I have you here. That's why I'm asking
these
questions.
You don't reach out to the other end and think that the other end should be the soft spot for everybody to punch. What about the government? The government has the state security at its disposal to make sure that the right things are done. They are abusing those things. And NDC, who don't have the state apparatus, should keep quiet and calm down. I support whatever my chairman said 100%, even if I have to add 1% to make it 101%. 101%. If they don't stop it, we'll face them boot for boot. That is it.
Yaira, in some of these supports, you support your chairman 100%, and if you could add 1%, you would. But Yaira, have you thought about it that in the event that we go into the elections and the results are announced and NDC has lost, don't you think that these words, these supports, may incite your party supporters to go on a rampage?
NDC is not losing the 2020. It's not losing the 2024 election. We are winning the elections. No two ways about it.
But
we are going to win it convincingly.
There's always a possibility.
The possibility does not arrive here.
You are so sure that the NDC is winning the elections?
And no complacency about it.
Interesting. So Yaira, the EC has called you to the table that come and let's have a conversation. NDC has declined to go to the table and sit with the EC. Don't you think that you should just give the EC some audience and then see the way forward?
Go to the table to discuss what? What are we going to discuss on the table?
Yeah,
we've already made our.
We've already stated with the EC.
We have already stated our issues with the EC and made it clear that this is what should happen. So if you are going back to the table, what are we going to discuss? I want to, maybe if you know, you can tell me as.
No, Yara, in saying that, what do we have to discuss? It looks like maybe there's a rift between the NDC and the EC.
Definitely not. We don't hate the EC. We want the right things to die. Even though we know that Bossman and Dr. Fori and the people are more NPP than Akufo-Addo, we are still tolerating them and doing that the right things will be done. So that's why we are saying that just go in for the forensic audit on the register and the IT system. You don't have anything to hide. Can I ask you a question?
No, yeah, I'm the one asking you a question on this.
I think if I should ask you a question, it will help clarify some things. If you have nothing to hide, would you be afraid for interrogation from the police?
Maybe you can answer that question yourself.
I know you can't answer that, so I'll leave it there.
Well, but Yara, before you go, your party members have been engaged in some violent altercations with MPP supporters over drip equipment. Why this? Why this violence? Why these altercations with the NPP? When you claim, yes, Yara.
I must be frank, I don't have much details about it. I've seen some videos going viral about some fight between them and NDC and MPP, but I don't really know. But you see, the whole thing is that this drip thing that you're doing is money paid with you, your tax, and my tax. Why should you brand it with MPP colors? I think the same thing happened in Kaswa, where they arrested a communication officer and was granted bail, I think 2 days ago or yesterday. The issue is that why should you brand it? Something paid with taxpayers' money with your political party. If MPP go and use their money to buy those things and brand it MPP or whatever, that is not a problem for us. But you can't use my taxpayers' money. You can't use my Momo money. You can't use my bet money. You can't use my e-levy money. You can't use my COVID money and all those things, my VAT money, to go and buy these things and you brand it as MPP party.
Okay. Thank you for speaking with us, Yaira.
Thank you very much.
Yaira Deku is the Deputy Director of IT for the National Democratic Congress. He joined us on the conversation about the Enough is Enough demonstration the NDC held yesterday all across the nation. This is all our main discussion. Let's get into politics today. What is happening in politics?
Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH _.
Best Inventor Ghana season.
Season 3 is here. ScanBrain Limited, organizers of the Best Inventor Ghana, has opened registration for the 3rd season of this innovative show. Who can enter? Manufacturers of innovative solutions for daily use. Winner goes home with 5,000 Ghana cedis. First runner-up with 3,000 Ghana cedis. And second runner-up with 2,000 Ghana cedis. The show will be broadcast on ABC News Ghana Television. Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 begins on the 21st of September 2024 at the Assembly Hall of the St. John's Grammar School. Registration is open to everyone. Call us now on 054-955-4148 to register. Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 is here. ScanBrain Limited, organizers of the Best Inventor Ghana, has opened registration for the 3rd season of this innovative show. Who can enter? Manufacturers of innovative solutions for daily use. Winner goes home with 5,000 Ghana cedis. First runner-up with 3,000 Ghana cedis. And second runner-up with 2,000 Ghana cedis. The show will be broadcast on ABC News Ghana Television. Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 begins on the 21st of September 2024 at the Assembly Hall of the St. John's Grammar School. Registration is open to everyone. Call us now on 054-955-4148 to register. For staying with us. On Politics Today, we are looking at assessing running mates' influence on election outcome. And we have to discuss this Salam Insia, who is a senior analyst at Global Info Analytics. Salam, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Salam, we know that running mates are not voted for, but we also cannot deny the influence they have on elections. What does a running mate bring to a ticket, especially in votes for the candidates? Hello,
okay,
Salam.
Thank you. Generally, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go on.
Okay, so generally, a running mate, the rule is that a running mate should, if it doesn't add to the ticket, shouldn't normally take from the ticket, right? So a running mate should not drag from the ticket, as in, it shouldn't cause voters to be disenchanted with the flag bearer so that the party will lose votes. So that's a general rule. Now, in Ghana and even in the US and other places, generally a running mate also is picked based on the party's desire to try and bridge a certain gap, and normally it's a demographic gap. So if you take the MPP like this, traditionally they've had a northern Muslim on the ticket, right? And it still pertains now. So it's like they are looking at the fact that maybe they are not that strong in the Muslim community or the North, so they want the ticket. So basically in politics, you attract support by first policy, then personnel, representation, then other kind of attributes. So if you take the MPP, that's what they are looking at. I mean, they might say other things, but generally that's what it is. So the reason why they have NAPO on the ticket is that they also want to show up support at their heartland of Asante. So that's why they have him. As to whether the intent or the aim for having him on the ticket materialized, I mean, the data, we can look at the data, what the data says. Now, if you also look at the NDC also generally has had, anytime they have a northern candidate, they have a southerner. So Prof. Nana is a southerner from a swing region of central region. Her gender also would be another strategy that they might use to try and attract more female voters than they used to. And as a swing region, of course, if you have somebody from that region, you expect that the person will attract more vote than somebody else. But it doesn't generally always pertain or always happens that way. But normally that's the strategy. So don't just pick a running mate for the sake of it. You pick a running mate to reach a certain demographic gap or to show up your support base or to get more from a certain base.
Okay. Yeah. Salam, we'll come back to the gender part, but before that, almost all the candidates have named their running mates ahead of the elections. We have NAPO for the NPP and Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman for the NDC. The independent parties, the independent candidates will also be naming their running mates. The other parties are also naming their running mates. How crucial will running mates be in this 2024 elections?
As I said, how crucial the person will be is one, is that choice targeted at a certain demographic? Two, is it trying to show up a certain maybe gap that the person at the top of the ticket has? How would the person be deployed? Okay, so if let's say Alan, for instance, has somebody who is under, I think, 45, right? So he's already talked about the fact that he wants to reach out to the youth. So he has a youthful person on the ground, but how is he going to deploy him among maybe the universities, the polytechnics, and all those places to make sure that his outreach will impact on the votes that Alan gets? Same way, Prof. Nana, of course, maybe they will deploy. I've seen that they are deploying here quite a bit in the markets. Markets are predominantly the predominant people we see at the markets are women who are trading, right? So if you have a woman going to talk to them about how to make their business easy and all that, it will help. So it's not about just the name. It's about the name, the demography, and how you are going to deploy the person to make sure you maximize the vote or the strength of that running mate.
Now let's look at the gender aspect of it. You mentioned that Prof. Nana Opoku-Agyeman going to the market, talking to the women, trying to galvanize the female populace to vote for the NDC. But we also know that in Ghana, a lot of people talk, anytime you mention women in top positions, a lot of people come from the angle of if you give women power, they become pompous. People run with that narrative a lot, and it's adversely affects women in certain areas. Do you not think that this narrative, if it is drummed a lot, will affect the NDC?
As I said, it's a narrative. Narrative does not always have a grounding in reality, right? Sometimes a myth is a perception that people think that is it, but in reality, it might not materialize. But as I said, then again, it will always depend on how she is deployed, how she carries herself and all that. So, I mean, on the face of it, she might make an impact, but the kind of impact she will make is how she does it, when she does it, and who she does it with, right? So, for me, if I'm a youth and a useful person is talking to me, I will tend to relate better or easily or connect easily with that person than maybe a retiree or a pensioner talking to me. So that's generally the politics. Politics, as they say, is a contact sport, right? A contact sport means that you have to go to the people, talk to the people, be like the people, dress like the people, sometimes talk their language. That's why sometimes you see maybe US people maybe come out with a southern accent and all that, just to relate to the people. So it's all about how you are deployed, how you relate the message and how you deploy the message.
Salam, you mentioned the central region is a swing seat. However, the Ashanti region is a major region for the NPP. Don't you think that NAPO is going to pull so many votes to counter whatever votes that Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman may also pull for the NDC in the central region, looking at the fact that the NPP is established in the Ashanti region so much so that now the people of the Ashanti region will say that we are voting for our own. Already they have huge numbers there. Don't you think that they are going to pull more votes as compared to how Professor Opoku-Agyeman is also going to pull votes for the NDC from her home central region?
Okay, first it's a bit of it's not really appropriate to compare Central to Ashanti.
Okay.
First of all, in terms of votes, I believe Ashanti is like, if I'm not mistaken, at least 5 times in terms of the voter population more compared to Central. Now, Central is what you say a bellwether region, right? Central always seems to have the pulse of the nation, at least from 1992 to 2020. Okay, so they say where Central goes, the nation goes. Now, Mahama winning Central region will not win him the presidency because there aren't enough polls there to put him over the edge, right? Now, Ashanti region is so key that in 2020, nearly cleared the votes that former President JM had in like 8 regions. Okay, that's how significant it is. Now, talking about NAPO being will be a game changer. Yes, in theory, the data doesn't really show that they might achieve the 85% target that they are seeking to achieve. Because we did some tracking poll, a couple of tracking poll in the Ashanti region, just to see how he will fare or his potential asset to the ticket. Now we try to compare the top 4 names that came out before NAPO was picked. Okay, when we started, NAPO had a net ability of plus 60. Ken had 55. Educhum had 43, and Professor Opoku-Agyeman also had 43. Now, in our tracking poll in August, we tried to look at. We asked them how likely or unlikely they are going to vote for how likely or unlikely they will vote for their party because of NAPO. I realized that even in August, the unlikely increased by about 5%, 5-8%. Okay, so I mean, the theory is always that okay, if you pick an Ashanti, he will. But the question is, having an Ashanti as a running mate, will it make more impact than having Ashanti as on top of the ticket? All these dynamics will work. But of course, even in 2020, about the data show about 500K voters did not turn out to vote. Now, voter apathy is the major issue NPP is going to grapple with especially their stronghold. Okay, so how they try to turn out their base in terms of trying to do a get out the vote operation, in their trying to go to the people's home to get them out to vote and all that. That's what will determine. But enthusiasm is really down for NPP, and it will determine how well they will do nationally, because Ashanti has a lot of votes.
Okay, Salam, thank you. And as we'll come back to this conversation as we have more to discuss on how the running mates help with the conversation. Thank you for joining us, Salam.
Thank you for having me.
Salam Insia is a senior analyst at the Global Info Analytics, and he helped us with assessing running mates' influence on election outcome. This brings us to the end of Politics Today. We'll be back. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us on ABC in the morning. It's been a period of insightful conversations ahead of our elections, and especially in Business Fix, when we looked at how to take care of yourself, especially in this period where the Bank of Ghana has released a report about fraud in our banks. We end the show by taking you to the Telecel Women in Business webinar series as part of our executive interview for today. But before we go, do well to follow us on all social media at ABC News GH_. Connect with us there. And for more news, you should visit our website www.newsgh.com. Joining us today, good today, and we come to you same time tomorrow. I am Abna Mante. Thank you.
After the founder dies, then
and the business comes to a halt. Yeah,
every person in entrepreneurship should be intentional about growing businesses that live after them.
That has a succession
plan. Thrive after them. So this is something that I would like to leave out there for women in business, the younger ones, and don't just think about your generation. Think about building a Marks and Spencer. Think about building a bigger brand, than yourself. And then it's much better for society.
So this is for Beryl from Joseph Jalen Amua. He says, I'd like to know from Beryl, having worked with young people and the success Echo House has chalked so far, does it defy the notion that Ghanaian youth is lazy? But we'll take your answer after this break. We'll be right back.
There is a business in every woman. And then she works, juggling through exclusive networking and thought leadership platforms. Enjoy bonus reward with our Red Loyalty and lots more. To benefit from this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302 233-4040 or email to business@telecel.com.gh to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals, connecting businesses. Telecel, connecting energies.
There is a business in every woman. And then she works, juggling all that matters to her in seeming effortlessness. One thing is for sure, there is a business in every woman. Introducing Telecel Women in Business, our initiative to empower women-led and women-owned enterprises. Accelerate your growth with finance and investment initiatives. Extend your reach with a free business website, access to digital and physical marketplace. Be empowered through exclusive networking and thought leadership platforms. Enjoy bonus reward with our Red Loyalty and lots more. To benefit from this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Welcome back. The Telecel Women in Business webinar series, the first episode. And I'm having an amazing time. And I have a little girl inside a shaman who started this Tom Brown business, who just sent me a message, said Oshe, and she's so excited. And Oshe, your new TVC for Telecel Women in Business, no, you can sign up. Oko Telecel Business, now I sign it up. And never be brave or a lot of rewards, events near day, will be taking advantage. Now, a Juma now, will help you grow, will empower you. We're here for you. Yeah, the energy, no, air connected to also energy. Telecel, dear, we are connecting energies. The more than power. Let's continue. Back to you guys. I bet you had no clue when you were young, said this was where you're going to get to. You thought you were going to be an engineer, like you said. And see, if you had known, said this was where you would have gotten to, what thing would you have done differently? Like, what thing would you have done differently?
I would have doubted myself less.
Okay. You had doubts?
Yes. I mean, because, like I'm saying, I think that sometimes people say, okay, this is me, I'm about to set up a business, and this is what I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
And sometimes I wish that that was my story, right?
Okay.
I wish that I knew that this was going to be a business.
Okay.
And why I'm saying that is there are so many things that in retrospect, I am happy it happened.
Okay.
But at the moment it happened, it felt like my world had come to an end.
Yeah.
So I saw something yesterday, they were talking about nothing is bad, nothing is good, everything is God. So
everything is God. Okay.
And so there's a disappointment that you face that makes you have to look at other options.
Okay.
Or there's somebody who leaves, who you think, I am dead, I am done, this person, and then you meet somebody else and think, where have you been?
Yeah.
You understand? And so I think that if I knew that this is where it would get to, I would have looked at things very differently. Okay. I mean, plenty tears would not have come, and a lot of doubts would not have.
In a nutshell, no, all things work together
for good.
For good,
yes.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
How about you, Ms. Safi?
In fact, I can't even add anything to what she said because really, pretty much, this would be my story as well. Mm-hmm. And you look at your younger self. And you think you could have done something a little bit better than what you have done. I was thinking that perhaps I could have sought advice and put in certain structures that were a bit delayed in my business. I should have done those earlier. Mm-hmm. And I thought that perhaps that would have made the business grow more exponentially than it has done now. Having said that, we still are in the business of evolving, and there's nothing. I never say never, because once you have life, you have everything, and you can always reinvent the wheel and do bigger and better things all the time, knowing that there is a great God who takes care of things. The God factor must never be dismissed. Then you have that team of people who are rooting for you, who are critical in your life, who will always correct you when you are going wrong. I wish I had that team a lot earlier, but I have to give thanks to my mother, who is no longer here, who became my business development manager, because my mother was doing small scale business, and what she would instill in me every year, at the end of the year, she would ask me, Afi, so what are you going to do differently next year? But she was the sole voice, and we would think about it. But if I had a team who were just thinking critically about how to develop our strategies for the next year, I think that we would have grown bigger. So
you mentioned you were 68.
Pardon?
Your age?
66.
66.
Yes.
Sorry, and you'll be 17 in 4 years.
4 years.
When are you retiring?
Oh, I'm never retiring. That's because I don't believe, and I may be kicked upstairs by the two girls, yes, but I would always have that voice for experience to guide them. Okay. So when you look at it that way, it is building a company that should be resilient.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you?
What I would tell my younger self, actually, that everything will work out.
Okay.
Everything will work out. I think I echo what everybody's saying. Yes, my younger self, I was more worrisome, anxieties, don't know where. You just don't see ahead too far. So, but where I see myself now, I think I always say I'm very grateful. That is something that I try to do all the time, showing gratitude, because the people that I have in my circle, my supportive system, have been really, really, I'll say, influential in terms of my transformation as a leader and my transformation as a person personally. So I would say everything will work out. God will put you in the place that you meet the right people, you meet the right people that will help you get the resources that you need to build up. Even in any room that I walk into, I go in with a prayer, like I will meet someone that will, if they're my destiny helper, they'll help me. So I think that everything will work out. That's what I would tell my younger self. Don't worry.
Before we go, let me ask you one very important question. You guys are making millions. Are you spending some? Are you spending some of the millions?
The millions is not here yet.
Are you
coming. Sure? Well, what I would say, I've learned to, initially when we first started, there was a lot of bootstrapping, my own funding that I put in and everything like that. Of course, got some help. Also got some people that really believed in the business that pushed me forward. So I've gone to a place where, yes, I do pay myself to a certain degree, but everything else, of course, have to go back in the company and then reinvest. Yeah, so I've learned to pay. I think that's what I've come to learn as a founder. You have to learn to pay yourself before anything else, because the work that you're putting is extraordinary, and sometimes you may not see it. You think that, it's other people that doing it, but it's your vision, and then it's you that's also leading them to make sure that that vision comes to reality.
Okay. Are you spending some of the money? Beryl, you?
Oh, yeah.
Are you spending some of the money?
I pay myself.
Okay.
I think that I recently was asking my brother, I said, so Kofi, what is it right now? Are we rich? What is it? Because I said, I want to have some money to do some extra things, but
okay.
But the point is, I think we had spent so much time trying to put, sort of put it back in and sort of growing it, that now, I was just saying recently that I want to look outside and see some of the money in actual fact. But growing a business is a very expensive thing. So typically you see it, but you are putting it all back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted us to go, but the questions keep coming in. David Jima was asking if it was good to start a business with his wife I think Beryl and Bright have proven to us that it's good.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I was saying, that it has a lot to do with the two individuals, because there's a lot of there's a lot of understanding of each other, a lot of patience that you need. I think it gets better with time. So it starts off because you're now figuring out your your barriers and stuff like that. So if the two people are committed to ensuring that they understand each other, you understand. Because I know that there have been good stories and also stories that didn't end up. So I think it has to do with two people just deciding that they want to make it work.
Jazel is back. He says, what keeps you up at night each day?
Keeps me up at night? Right now, I don't have much that keeps me up at night.
Okay.
No, I think for me, I don't know what everybody. I've gone through like series of anxieties before, so I've learned to try to have time for myself. So most times I actually go to bed and then wake up a bit early to do and meditate and all that stuff. So I've really learned to not have anything keep me up at night.
Okay.
Yeah, I've really learned not to. And I think for me, the past few years, I'm also learning to be productive instead of just being busy. Because sometimes we think that everything is just go, and being busy means you're being productive.
Okay.
So I've been very, very selective as to what I would do that would take my time, that I know will be valuable to me now and also in the future. So yes, I sleep.
The questions
I sleep
keep
at
coming.
night.
How many vacations do you take in a year? You work so hard. Hey, the questions are coming and coming. Do you go on any vacations?
I do. I take vacations.
You haven't gone on any?
No. So
when was the last time you went for a break? Like you went for a vacation, a proper vacation?
So the last time, and it's not a healthy thing, but I'm learning to do better. So don't judge me. But my last leave was my maternity leave, which was 5 years ago.
No,
but that's what I'm saying. That's not a good thing at all.
We're all giving you the side eye.
Yes, because I mean, even I am also seeing the kind of toll that it takes on me. So I think that I didn't want to say it because I don't think it's a good it's a good thing.
I take vacations. I make it very intentional. As I said, I've gone through a series of anxieties and other things, and I find time for myself and also for my kids. So we do take road trips here and there. And me, sometimes, as I said, I like to go to the beach and just sit there and just take in the nature. And I think for me, sometimes getting that me time for myself is where I find the creative juices coming out. I really find ways to innovate, and the new ideas will start coming in. So I've learned to take time for myself because I don't want to get sick anymore.
So your team in Nigeria are saying hello to you.
Okay.
They're saying shout outs to you. You're the bestest boss ever. And they're saying great stories. We've been enlightened, and they are advising us to learn to pay ourselves and go on breaks, like go for vacations and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Awesome. So are there any last words you'd like to share with us? To, let's say, a young entrepreneur who is looking up to you, maybe a lady who has finished her service, who has decided that she doesn't want to work with anyone, she wants to start something. What do you want to tell her?
Yeah, I would first of all like to tell the person to believe in themselves and know that whichever career path that they decide to take, first of all, God is with them, and at the same time, they must be intentional about planning. They should start small, because when you start small, that is, and you keep, the nature of the business keeps demanding for you to expand. That is when you know that your business is actually growing. Don't go for a big capital and come and start, boom, and then by a couple of years you start going down. You can only see your growth when you see your need for more staff, for more equipment, for more, resources, so to speak. So just believe in yourself and be very, very, very intentional about educating yourself around the business niche that you are carving for yourself. if you want to go into delay mackerel, know that you want to give the best mackerel ever. So where the mackerel
we have
is
the
being
best
canned,
taste
yes,
on the market today.
Yes, and where it is, no, we are asking for value for money.
Exactly, and we are giving them just that.
And it must be healthy.
Very healthy.
Yes.
Under
so
highly, hygienic conditions.
Exactly.
Our bread too, the best.
So you learn around all those things to perfect your business. And as you go, don't ever give up on learning. Keep learning. Keep learning. Keep going to courses. Keep educating yourself around your business. For me, that is what I would say.
A question came in. I already asked that question. The bit about someone looking for a job opportunity or national service opening. We asked that, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Good. So I think we've exhausted everything. And there are some comments coming in. Someone asked if, in terms of succession planning, if your children are not interested in your business, what would you do? That's a very difficult one. So it means like when you are gone, that is it, right?
No. At all. No.
So some people will take your business.
Oh, well, if you see, if there are people within your establishment who have showed dedication to it, you can groom those people.
So they will take over their business.
And then also there's something like floating shares or that kind of thing. So you can get other people. So it's like a conglomerate of people who are now running and owning the business. And so different thought processes come into it, and they help drive the business upwards. So you shouldn't just give up on that. Yes. For all you know, the children will derive dividends from these people's hard work.
Holalom says this is the best conversation I've listened to today. Thank you, Delay, the ladies and Telecel, and Comfort Banduma. I'm loving this. You ladies are inspiring. And basically, please, your final words.
So my final words for any young entrepreneur or woman or even men out there is exactly start small, start from where you are. Many times, yes, we feel like we need to do everything very big. Always make sure that you validate that product before it hits the market. In technology age, we have people building products that, of course, they go in the market and it doesn't sell. So make sure that your product is selling. You validate it before it hits the market. Also, I would say find the right team and the mentors and the advisors that would really push you. Your sponsors that would really help you to where you need to go to. Many times I know myself that initially when I first started as an entrepreneur, I wanted to do everything myself, but it's impossible.
No.
So you need to have the right people, the right team, people that will push you, people that will give you the right advice. I'm constantly running my thoughts, running my ideas to my mentor, who would come back with me with new ideas and new ways that I would run my business. Take that on, have that tribe that would help you move to the next level, because that's what I think has helped me on my journey.
Okay, and does anyone want to add anything?
No.
You are done?
Yes.
Okay, and for me, dear, all I'll say is that I met this man, Mr. Martin Broby, who was the founder of Yas. He was a sponsor of the Delay Show. I started going to the markets with him to do activations and stuff. And that was when I had the idea that I'm always following this man to help him sell. I should also have my own product so that I'll sell for myself. So that was my light bulb moment. I had that epiphany at that. So there's always an opportunity out there. You should always open your eyes. You will never know when you have that awakening. And once it comes, it shouldn't just be a dream. You should follow through and make sure that it comes to life. And nobody said it was going to be easy. There are nights when you cry. They know.
Oh, yeah.
They are smiling, but they won't tell you. You will cry. There are days when you will be asking yourself, why am I doing this? Who is forcing me? I'm tired. Maybe I should just stop and then find somewhere and sit and just, go on a holiday, go to Rome and bask on a rock like a lizard or something. We have that moment. But then again, it takes me back to what Ya said. You remember the why. You ask yourself, why did I start all of this? And then you need the support at a point. That is where Telecel Women in Business comes in. You go to Telecel Business Online, and then you go and register, and we're here to support you, we're here to empower you, we're here to help you go. Remember that we are connecting our energy to yours. Telecel, connecting energies. Thanks for watching us.
There is a business in every woman. And then she works, juggling all that matters to her in seeming effortlessness. One thing is for sure, there is a business in every woman. Introducing Telecel Women in Business, our initiative to empower women-led and women-owned enterprises. Accelerate your growth with finance and investment initiatives. Extend your reach with a free business website, access to digital and physical marketplace. Be empowered through exclusive networking and thought leadership platforms. Enjoy bonus reward with our Red Loyalty and lots more. To benefit from this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel, connecting energy.
Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302-233-4040 or email to business@telecel.com.gh to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals, connecting businesses. Telecel, connecting energy.